And joining me now is a very special guest. The newsmaker of the day is the latest leader from the Congress to switch sides. He's joined the Sena in Maharashtra. Milind Deora, former South Mumbai MP and Union Minister, joins me. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Deora. Give us the main reason why you've quit the Congress party. In a letter, you've claimed that the Congress has abandoned its principles. Can you be more specific as to why you chose to leave the Congress, a party which you say your family's been associated with for more than half a century?
Well, Rajdeep, thank you for having me on. You've been covering the Congress for a long time, and you knew my late father as well. The Congress party that I joined in 2004 is fundamentally different from the Congress party of 2024 in many ways. Its approach to politics, its way of dealing with its human resources, its organizational capability, its approach to issues, its role as a opposition, constructive or destructive. All of these are things which have fundamentally changed in the last few years. I stayed in the party during I stayed loyal to the party during its most challenging decade from 2014 to 24. I had no post. I was made president of the Mumbai Congress barely 20 days before the Lok Sabha elections. I had no role to play in candidate selection. I was told these are the 5 candidates in Mumbai. Go out and campaign for them, help them win. I hadn't even moved a chair in that party office. And a few weeks later, after the victory, I was asked why I didn't resign. After the loss, I was asked why I didn't resign. And I readily resigned. I readily accepted responsibility. I said, no matter the fact that even though I was made president of the party barely 20 days before, I will resign. And I believe that if I was accountable, and I was willing to take accountability for no role, for no responsibility or fault of mine, I have every right to demand accountability. But each and every time I demanded accountability, I was the first person in 2014 who spoke about the fact that the party must introspect. It must have better advisors. In 2019, when the party was looking for a new president, right in the beginning, before the election happened, when which Khargeji got elected, I suggested the names of 2 young people. My tweet is on record. You can go back and check it today. Those statements of mine were treated as revolt. I still stayed loyal to the party, despite being sidelined, despite being punished. For what? For giving constructive suggestions. For giving my best 10, most productive 10 years of my life, from the age of 37 to 47, which I am today, to the Congress, staying loyal. But there has to come a time where a person has to decide what their purpose in politics is and why you enter this profession for the first time. And I had a very hard time understanding and accepting that. And I realized that for me, politics is about getting something done, about performing and delivering for the people of Mumbai, for the people of Maharashtra, for the people of India. My politics, Rajdeep, in the last 10 years, not once have I made a personal statement against anyone in government, against anyone in any other sector. It's always been constructive. You can criticize on policy. You can criticize on ideas. You can give constructive suggestions sometimes. If the Prime Minister talked about Make in India, give a constructive idea. Why dismiss it? And I found that suffocating, where the only objective, where 99% market share of the party is negativity and not positivity. Unfortunately, that is not the politics I was raised seeing from my father. That's not what I saw politics as. And it reached a point where it was just too suffocating for me. And I had to take a decision.
Are you directly blaming in a way Rahul Gandhi for this? Let's be very clear. In your long note that you've written, you haven't specifically named Rahul Gandhi, the individual. Are you blaming him for this lack of accountability or what you call the suffocating atmosphere in the Congress? Because you are perceived to be someone who's very close to the Gandhis.
No, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm blaming the party as an institution. The party transcends an individual. And unfortunately, Rajdeep, we have to get over the notion that the party belongs to one individual. The party transcends individuals. It's an organization. Today, for instance, I heard some Congress leaders saying Milind shouldn't have done this on a day when Rahul Gandhi was embarking on a yatra. Think of how entitled that sounds. A good organization would have said, a good, talented young person, an experienced person, a good face of our party has a problem. Let's talk to him or her, sit down with them, find a way to resolve an issue. Instead, the party's attitude is you resigned and you left and you joined another party on a day when you'll take media attention away. That just gives you a sense of how entitled the party is and how entitled it's become. It really pains me to when I heard that statement of a leader saying that one of the senior leaders of the party sent me that message, effectively saying, couldn't you have chosen a better day?
But Milind Deora, there will be those who say that you are also part of this entitled elite, that your father was multiple times. One minute. You use the word. Sure. But let me
finish. No, 1 second. When he sent that
respond
message
to your
me,
use of the word
when
entitled.
That leader sent a message to me which said, you could have chosen a better day. Yes, I'll come to that. But when that leader said, you could have chosen a better day, I tell you this, that gave me the strength and confidence to take that decision. I was still wavering, I would say. But the fact that the party could send me a message like that, couldn't you have chosen a better day? A senior leader, just goes to show how the party thinks, how the party has no ability to deal with human resources. It has no ability to utilize talent. And I'm not somebody who's left in a huff. I'm not somebody who's left in a rush. I've stayed for 10 long years without any power. I'm not someone who's selfish and who said, I've lost one election, I'm running away. I didn't do that. I know what the depth of my relationship with this family, the party was. But there comes a time, as I said, where you have to take a decision. You have to identify in life what your purpose is. And your purpose, your loyalty has to be to a greater cause than one party which doesn't value you, or a family, or someone else, or even a leader. And I believe that the clarion call that the Prime Minister has often made, which he says that even if you're a member of the BJP, the loyalty to the country comes before the party. And when I spoke to Mr. Shinde, I'll tell you, when I spoke to Mr. Shinde, he echoed a similar sentiment. He said that here, do something for Maharashtra, help me do something for Mumbai, let's do it together. You have a vision, you have the ability, you have the experience. That is never something I've heard in the Congress in the last few years, unfortunately.
I have two issues. One, you use the word entitled, that the party seems very entitled in the kind of remarks they've made. But many will say you and many around you who've left the party have been equally entitled. You all became ministers while you were in your 30s. You all became MPs because your fathers were in politics. The party's given you a lot. You've been a candidate twice. Apart from the 2 times you won, you've also in 2014-19 been the candidate from Mumbai. You are Mumbai Congress chief. You're even today, you are the joint treasurer of the party. They will say, what has the party not given to the Deora family? You're being ungrateful and entitled. How do you respond?
So yes, the party gave me what it gave me because I come from a political family. I appreciate that. But if the party has given me something, have I not given back to the party? Shall I count what I've given? There's some things which I can't say on public television which I've done for the party. But the party knows that I've given back. At the very least, which everyone knows in public, I gave 10 years. I gave 10 years of loyalty to the party, hoping, against hope, that the party will change, the party will move towards a more constructive agenda. That if one senior leader leaves, the party will feel there is a problem. It can't be, if one leader has left, you can call it an aberration. You can say one leader was selfish, one leader had compulsions and had to leave. If several leaders have left, if several leaders have tried to leave, surely there's something wrong. Surely there's time for introspection. Surely there's something going wrong in the party. And I gave you the example. The best example is this morning. One of the senior most leaders of the party sending me a message, I understand you had to leave, but couldn't you have chosen a better day? Can you imagine? Fine, don't call it entitlement. Is that not arrogant? Is that not foolish? Is that the way in your company,
can I put the second question to you?
Is that the way the Human Resources Department or the CEO will treat a senior anchor?
Okay, I take your point, but may I ask you the second question, which is you say you've sacrificed the last 10 years, the best years of your life, working for the party. There will be those who will say that you were actually hankering for position, that you wanted a Rajya Sabha MPship which was denied to you on more than one occasion from Maharashtra. You've lost 2 consecutive elections, therefore you couldn't have the right to contest from South Mumbai in 2024. The Shiv Sena defeated you there. They have Arvind Sawant contesting. Milind Deora is doing this for position. Eknath Shinde is offering you a Rajya Sabha seat. That's why you've chosen to go with Mr. Eknath Shinde, even though the Shiv Sena is a party that your father, Murli Deora, was seen as an opponent of.
My father had very old relations with the Shiv Sena, Rajdeep. You know Mumbai's politics better than that. That's a separate issue. If I'm asking for a position, let's say that what you're saying is true. Some will say, as you say. What's wrong in that? What's wrong in asking for a position to be able to serve the people better? The kinds of people who've been sent by the party, let's say, are they better than me? Are they more capable than me to raise the issues of Mumbai and Maharashtra in the Parliament of India? Are they better equipped to represent the people of the city? Do they have the connect? Do they have the grassroots network that I have, which can help the party? What is wrong in that? Politics is a game of acquiring power to be able to deliver justice. That is the objective of politics. That is the meaning, the dictionary definition of politics. If you do not have power and the party wants to keep you away from power, what is wrong? If tomorrow a man comes along and says, I need you, I want you to come and work with me. I believe you have what it takes to help me make Mumbai a developed city again, to make Mumbai, to strengthen India's position as, Mumbai's position as India's financial capital, to attract investment to Maharashtra. What's wrong in that? That's what I entered politics for. I'm not ashamed of that. I entered politics to deliver and to work. If tomorrow, Rajdeep, someone tells you, you work for the channel, go on TV every day, I won't pay you, I won't call you the editor, and someone else is saying, no, Rajdeep, I value you, I think you have a network, you are following, please come to my channel, won't you think about it? What's wrong in that? It's not called being selfish. It's called being able to acquire power to deliver justice for the people. And if there's someone better than me, of course I'm willing to accept that. But what happens repeatedly is if someone feels people with lesser abilities, largely people who unfortunately are sycophants, are not willing to say the truth, are people who don't want to offer constructive suggestions but are yes people. If they are rewarded and the ones who are offering constructive suggestions and are real loyalists of an organization are being punished, there comes a breaking point. And that's what's happened. I never thought it would happen. If you asked me 1 month ago, can you ever leave Congress? I would say no. If you asked me, do you think there are problems in the Congress? I would have said there are 100 problems in the Congress. But I could never think of leaving the Congress. But there comes a tipping point in somebody's life. And at that point, somebody has to ask themselves, as I said, what is your purpose? Is your purpose to serve the people, or is your purpose to be a sycophant? And I chose the former, not the latter.
Okay. You mentioned an SMS that you got from a message from a senior leader of the Congress. A senior leader of your party, of your former party, also sent me a message saying Milind Deora or the likes of Milind Deora are used to power. Satta, they don't want to do sangharsh. When you're in the opposition, you have to do sangharsh, which means hit the road, be on the street, battle it out, build your base again. That's what you need. You don't leave the party, you continue with doing sangharsh. How do you respond to that? That many of you who have had soft landings in politics cannot handle being in the opposition for so long.
Well, again, as I said, if that is look, party can say what they want about me. Ultimately, Rajdeep, the people of India are the best judge of which party has a strong organizational base, which party the public believes should lead India. Forget Milind. Let's say Milind is an irrelevant entity. Let's say those who left the Congress are irrelevant entities. The party doesn't want to introspect. The party thinks everything is going gung-ho. Party thinks everything, blames everything from those who left to EVM machines, to corporates, to the media, dictatorship. Yes, yet they're able to call someone a dictator. I've never heard of a dictatorship in which you're able to call the alleged dictator a dictator. So I wish the party the best. That's what I'm saying. I don't want them to improve now. I've left the party. I have no stake in them improving. If they continue to have their head buried beneath the sand, they will perish. And a party which once upon a time had 400 plus seats in parliament is now reduced to 1/10 that number. Is that the blame of people who've left the party? Or is that something wrong in the direction that the party is taking?
That your party
or
was the
will
fact
the party be so brazen, or tomorrow the party may be so brazen?
Was the fact that your party
has blamed
decided
EVMs,
not to...
tomorrow the party may blame the Indian voters.
Was the fact that your party decided to boycott the Pran Pratishtha Ram temple at all a consideration for you? Because you have today also, you first went to Siddhivinayak temple, prayed there. Is there a sense that you believe that the party has, you say, been taken over by corporates or has become anti-corporate and is moving too far to the left? Is your sense that the party also is not in sync with popular sentiment on issues like the Ram temple?
Look, not being in sync with popular sentiment or being in sync with popular sentiment is just doing something for the sake of being in sync with popular sentiment to get votes, is an example of opportunism. Of course, I was upset when the party rejected the invite to attend the Ram temple. I find it ridiculous that the party did that. When you say you went to Siddhivinayak temple, I don't know what that means, by the way. I go to Siddhivinayak temple every time I embark on something important in my life. Siddhivinayak temple for us in Mumbai and Maharashtra is a significant place of worship. There's nothing, I don't have to wear Hinduism or my religion or my faith on my sleeve. But the Ram temple, which the Supreme Court has settled, a matter of faith and devotion to hundreds of millions of Indians, and the way that the party drafted that statement, as I said, I wish them the best of luck. I don't know how the party is run anymore, and frankly it baffles me when I hear these things. I think that there is being a little delusional in life may be good sometimes, but being completely delusional is very dangerous, and that would be my message to my friends in the Congress.
Can I therefore ask you in conclusion, you've used words like there's a sycophantic culture in the party has drifted away from principles, there's no accountability, it's blaming everyone but itself, no introspection. Let's be clear, I come back to it. At the end of the day, Rahul Gandhi, someone who I repeat was close to you, is the one who helms the party. He's leading this yatra today. The buck must stop somewhere. Across the world, the buck usually stops with an individual, even though the individual may not be bigger than the party. But we've seen in the past, individuals take responsibility. Do you hold Rahul Gandhi responsible, or do you hold the people around him responsible, or do you believe just the structure of the Congress party is to blame when people like you today turn around and say there's sycophancy, there's lack of accountability, when you've been in that same party for so many years?
Rajdeep, that's a question you'll have to ask the Congress party. I don't belong to that party anymore.
But I will ask you the question of you're being diplomatic there. You're not going that far to name the individual, but I will push you on this.
I'm not being diplomatic.
You've left the Congress and you seem to believe that you've left it for good.
I'm not being diplomatic. No, I'm not being diplomatic.
No, but are you comfortable with the idea that you will now be, you're not being diplomatic, but you're not willing to name Rahul Gandhi directly, but I will ask you this. You're joining a party with Eknath Shinde as Chief Minister in Maharashtra. Narendra Modi ji is the Prime Minister of the country. Are you entirely comfortable now making this ideological shift? It's one thing to be angry, upset, disenchanted, disillusioned with the Congress. Does that necessitate the kind of ideological shift that you've gone and made to join hands with the Shiv Sena in Maharashtra and part of the larger BJP Parivar at the center?
Well, Rajdeep, I think you're unaware of what's been happening in Maharashtra for the last 4 years. Who joined hands with the Shiv Sena? The Congress party. So when you talk about ideological shift, what ideology is left in the Congress? The party that ushered in economic reforms today is abusing businesses that were born out of those reforms. Have you once heard the former Prime Minister of India and former Finance Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh criticizing any industrial group? The Congress is aligning with UBT, which started out as a post-poll alliance. Now they're doing a pre-poll alliance. I know exactly how the party leadership, what the party leadership feels about UBT. I know exactly what they feel. I know exactly how much they trust UBT. I know exactly what they think about their capability as a party and leadership. In fact, I'll go one step further. I know exactly what UBT thinks about the Congress. Maybe one day I'll have to spill the beans, but I don't want to do that. But the truth is, let's please not talk about Congress's ideological base. I don't know what Congress stands for anymore. It once was a centrist party which took everyone along. It was a Big Tent party. It brought India together. Today that same party is trying to create a north-south divide. Today the same party is demanding a caste census. Today, regrettably, the same party is doing whatever it can to garner a few votes here and there. And I think and I believe that the public will eventually see through that, as they did in 2019 and 2014.
Can I therefore ask you, you seem to believe that 2024 is a done deal. What, according to you, is the big difference between Prime Minister Modi and Rahul Gandhi? Since you don't want to specifically name Rahul Gandhi as being responsible for the decline of the Congress, let me put it that way. What is the big difference that makes Narendra Modi today more attractive for Milind Deora than a Rahul Gandhi, apart from the fact that Mr. Modi is in power for the last decade?
You asked me a question that do I think 2024 is a done deal? My sense is, and even before I made this announcement today, that people like Eknath Shinde ji, people like the Prime Minister, people in BJP, even though they have tailwinds in their favor, they work hard, they don't take things lightly. And that is the fundamental difference between this alliance and the other alliance. The other alliance thinks it's there, the India alliance and many parties, and I can certainly speak about my former party. It's unfortunate, but the Congress thinks that the voters of India owe the Congress party a return to power. I don't think that the other parties on the side that I'm on now in the NDA believe that. They believe we have to work hard to earn the people's trust. The fact that I could receive the message that I received today just shows you what is wrong with the Congress. And beyond that, I just want to wish them my best. I only hope through your channel, if they're watching this, that they will move towards being a more constructive opposition in this country. I think there are many Indians who, despite the fact that they may be supporters of the NDA, they still feel that the country needs a constructive opposition. They understand that it's important to have a constructive opposition to bring out constructive suggestions. If tomorrow the government announces a particular initiative, it helps to have a constructive opposition which can say, no, don't do it this way, do it this way, this will work better. And I only hope through your channel and through this show that the Congress and other opposition parties move towards being more constructive, move towards being more development oriented, move towards being less obstructionist, move towards revisiting their old ideology. Their old ideology is fundamentally different from the current ideology. As I said, economic reforms to abusing corporates, calling them anti-nationals. A party which had a certain view on UCC 370, today having completely different views. So the party unfortunately has lost its way. And it's important for people who want to serve, who are capable, who believe in meritocracy, who have the ability to move out and chart their own path. I don't recommend that for anyone in any party. If your party and your organization is not giving you a platform to serve your constituents or your country better, you should leave. You should do that in any organization, not just political. You should do that if you're running a media channel. You should do that if you're working in a company. The purpose of what that organization represents is greater than an individual running that organization or even the organization itself.
A final word very quickly. Are you saying therefore that that you have got no assurance of a Rajya Sabha seat from Eknath Shinde and that's the reason you're switching? and that you will continue to work for the Eknath Shinde group and its ally, the BJP, irrespective of any position they give. You're claiming this is not about position or ambition. This is primarily about your disillusionment with the Congress that made you look at options. Am I correct?
Rajdeep, sometimes I've known you for a long time, and sometimes I know you like to ask me on many of your shows mischievous questions. Let me just answer it by saying this, that I know of several journalists who have been vying for Rajya Sabha seats, and I think it's something which you should answer, not me.
Milind Deora, it is for you to decide whether the Rajya Sabha seat is what you're looking for. I can assure you I will continue to ask these questions of all leaders. I remember your late father very fondly because I was a journalist in Mumbai in the 1980s when he was in the Congress party. You made your choice and you've given us the reasons for the choice. And maybe your old friends in the Congress will also be listening closely to what you've said. Thank you very much, Milind Deora, for joining me on the show tonight.